welcome back to my channel. My name is Amari Simone and it's so nice to meet you. So for today's video, we are in the book of Esther. This is part 3. We are talking about the process that she went through before she became queen. I want you to subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you want to follow along with me, I also have linked the notes to this series. It's the first link in the description. So that way you can follow along, you can get the verses, you can see like what it is that you missed, you can take notes. And I think it's just like a good tool during this series to have. Also, my clarity calls are now opened. It's called Rooted in Christ. And this is for those that are wanting to discover your purpose. So you may be in a season and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, why do I feel like this? Why is God allowing this to happen? I don't know my next steps. Then I have opened up this clarity call specifically for you. Today, we are looking at Esther chapter 2, verse 12. It says, before each young woman was taken to the king's bed, she was given the prescribed 12 months of beauty treatments, 6 months with oil of myrrh, followed by 6 months with special perfumes and ointments. Before Esther became royalty, she had to go through her process. She might have been in the palace, but she was still not ready to be seen. You might find yourself in that same situation. You might be like, ready for the next chapter of your life. However, you still have like a small process to go through. So before the crown came the crushing, and before the palace came the process. Before she was able to carry the weight of the crown, she had to go through her process. During this season, God refined her. During this season, it's like God stripped her of her old identity and he gave her a new identity. I think that's like a foreshadowing of Christ. Before Christ, you had one identity, but then when you give your life over to Christ, you now take on his identity and you have been made new in Christ. It's the same thing with Esther. Before she became queen, it's like she had to give up her old way of life and she had to take on a new identity and her new role. There were 6 months of oil of myrrh. In the Bible, myrrh, it symbolizes death, suffering, and surrender. Just imagine like sitting in oil. It's like getting up all the detox out of you. And that could symbolize a healing process. When you're going through that healing process, we don't really talk about how it feels. When you're going through that process, it's like you're just getting rid of everything inside of you that hurt, anger, unforgiveness, that trauma that you've experienced. And it really doesn't feel good. It really feels like a crushing season. But during that season, it's like God is bringing up things that have to be released. He's stripping away that pride, that ego, okay, and those unhealthy attachments that you may have to certain people, okay? So you may feel like you're being overlooked. You may be experiencing rejection, but it's all a part of your purification process. So it was 6 months of that. Imagine yourself in Esther's shoes, like you lost your parents, you're in an unknown territory, and now you have to get purified. We will look at that as, God, like, why am I going through this? But your process, like, you have to go through it. Beautiful thing is you're going through it and you're not staying in it. That pruning and that crushing season, it doesn't last always. But after you've been dealt with and you've gotten those things and it's surfaced and you have healing, it's like God brings restoration in your life. These were luxurious spices and oils like frankincense, cassia, cinnamon, and rose, and it was used for adorning and attracting. It symbolizes identity, beauty, and calling. So this is when you begin to carry the fragrance of your process. I remember when I was going through my season and I kind of got over that crushing season and I just realized that this is my time to really just learn and get closer to God. And I remember I walked into the grocery store and this person was like, wow, God is with you. After you've been pruned and crushed, you are now being presented and you're stepping into your purpose. So God didn't let Esther step into her purpose until he detoxed her from her past, which is what the myrrh represented. And then he infused her with her new identity. During her last 6 months of her treatments, during that 12-year process, she was, bathing in the nice perfumes and she had her ointments. So God infused her with a new identity. The myrrh season for you might be the heartbreak. It might have been the rejection. It might have been just losing friends and family members. and you feel like no one sees you. In the perfume season, that's like your glow up. That's like you're coming out. That's like, you're starting to attract the right people. You're starting to walk in your purpose. You now have your new identity in Christ. So during that preparation period, it's the perfect time for your character to be tested. It's like your time of refinement. And when we look at Esther, she was very obedient. She followed instructions. It's hard for her. She experienced trauma, but she didn't allow her trauma to get her out of line with her purpose. She had to navigate through that. You feel like you're just going through life and you're like, there's more to this, or I feel like I have to be someone that I'm not. You don't. Go through your process. It's your process, and it makes you a better person, a better wife, a better mother, a better friend, a better daughter, a better sister. Go through that process. And when you are really walking with God and you really surrender your life over to Him, you don't have to try. You don't have to be the loudest one in the room. Your quietness can speak volumes. You may be going through a season of singleness. It's preparing you for marriage. That job that you may not like, it's maybe developing your character. That quietness, when you feel isolated and alone, it's like the perfect area to really hear God's voice. I hope that this has blessed you, and I want you to know that the best is yet to come, and I'll see you on the next video.